Welcome back to the Attention Now podcast, where we dive deep with leaders, warriors, and game changers who make a difference and have a purpose. Today's guest is someone who absolutely embodies that spirit, John Tiegen. We welcome you to the show. It's great to have you here today, John.
Oh, yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks,
Thank you.
Dave.
Thank you. Is it okay to call you Tig, or what do you prefer?
No, I mean, Tig's fine. There's so many Johns in the world. It's just easier. Not too many Tigs.
I was going to ask you that before we started, but I'm glad I did that. So let me start off with an introduction, then we'll dive right into it.
That sounds good.
John Tig Tiegen is a U.S. Marine known for his heroic actions during the 2012 Benghazi attack. He served 4 years in the Marine Corps before becoming a security contractor. He then joined the CIA's Global Response Staff, GRS, providing security in high-threat environments. On September 11, 2012, Tig was part of the CIA Annex security team in Benghazi, Libya. He was one of the GRS members who responded to the attacks on the U.S. diplomatic compound and the CIA Annex. He helped defend the compound for over 13 hours, directly contributing to saving many American lives. Tig's story was told in the book 13 Hours, the inside account of what really happened in Benghazi, and the movie 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. After Benghazi, Tig was dedicated his life to advocating for veterans, public safety, and personal responsibility, co-founding an organization that supports military and law enforcement communities. But his life didn't end there. Today, he's continuing his mission, speaking out, leading from the front, and now stepping up in the political arena to run for mayor. Driven by service, accountability, and leadership, this is a conversation encourage brotherhood, truth, and what really means to answer the call when it matters the most. Let's get started, brother. Tig, where did you grow up?
Well, pretty much here in Colorado, but I think there's a lot of fluff in there, though. But
I usually ask if I miss something, or do you want to correct something? So tell me before we dive into that.
No, I mean, I was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We left there between third and fourth grade and moved to Colorado.
Okay.
So I've been pretty much here in Colorado since then, and
Nice.
it's military stuff and contracting.
Okay.
But yeah, lived here in Colorado since then, and I've seen it, kind of expand and good and bad. So, but yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think you're going to step up,
Since-
and we'll talk about that here shortly. But speaking of, I did miss one thing that I saw on your website that I had not noticed. You're a recording artist also, and I listened to some of those clips. Those are great. Those are really good, brother. I started listening to some on Spotify, so congratulations.
Yeah.
That's what I did
thanks.
forget to mention that. So there you go.
So I'm not singing. I just wrote the songs.
I thought somebody's singing.
Yeah, it's actually, so I found a couple people that wanted to potentially wanted to sing, and David Corlew, which was Charlie Daniels manager for like forever.
Okay.
And I kind of hit him up, so you kind of figure like, how does this work, with my music, the stuff that I wrote, because he liked it too. He's like, oh, this is really good stuff. But
Right.
so when you get somebody to actually sing your stuff, you kind of like the movie, you kind of give your rights off to them,
Got
and
it.
they can start manipulating how you wrote things. Again, it was kind of like, because I'm not a singer. You don't want me singing, trust me.
Okay, I was gonna say, man,
It's
this guy
really
can do everything.
horrible. Yeah, no. I thought about taking music lessons, like singing lessons and stuff, but I didn't got time for that yet. But so it's actually AI that's singing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I can control it, but I still have other guys that are kind of still thinking about they want to sing it, but now they can take whatever. So the potentially people probably still sing the song, but I actually have it out there the way I want it sung.
Nice.
Just
Well,
the way the
listen,
lyrics are. It's really hard to find the right, I guess, how you want it sung, I guess,
right.
the beat. So some of it was like really funny, like listening to it and stuff like that. But no, like AI didn't write it. It's just kind of like how I like my childhood and stuff growing up, and some of it's like the Benghazi stuff and kind of how
Okay.
it came out was kind of funny. So again, David Corlew. So I wrote a bunch of stuff like in 2016. I kind of went off from Benghazi for the most part. And,
Okay.
um, I wrote kind of like not really the devil, like Hyena's Den or something like that, but
Yep.
Benghazi warrior stuff, and I posted it once. It's kind of like a poem, I guess what you could say. And David said you should do a voiceover on this. I was like,
Okay.
okay. So I started doing it, started speaking. I was like, I didn't. Again, I didn't like the way it sounded, so I started kind of changing it and started doing it. And then a buddy of mine out of Dallas, he said, "Hey, there's this thing that'll kind of like it'll sing it to you. You can turn it into a song."
Oh, wow.
So I started putting it in there, started listening to it, and I was able to like change things around like instantly.
Wow.
That's how I turned everything that I wrote into a song.
That's awesome. Well, I listened to about two or three tracks, and they're great. So I encourage people to check them out. And the
Yeah,
music sounds great, and the lyrics sounded great as well. So
thanks.
awesome. Uh, so let's get to how did you decide to join the Marine Corps?
Well, initially I wanted to join the Army. I actually started way back in Iowa. I
Okay,
used it started because walking to and from school there was a recruiting station, and actually walking back I used to stop in there, and that's kind of how it started. I wanted to join the Army, wanted to be a pilot,
got it.
mainly because of the posters, the cool
Yep.
Army posters, the Apache helicopter. But then about fifth grade, couldn't become a pilot because I had to have the four eyes. And back then they didn't have the corrective surgeries they could do nowadays. And then Full Metal Jacket came out, and I said, "That's what I want to do." Was
Oh,
the movie.
nice. Awesome. Love it.
So that was my motivation to
It's
join the Marine
amazing how
Corps.
we're influenced by media, right? It's amazing.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So that's
And you
kind of
and you
how.
served 4 years, right?
Yep, I did the 4 years. I wanted to
Okay.
be a lifer, but ended up just doing 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. We'll
So.
talk about offline why I got out too, so we don't need to dive into that. What was the most valuable lesson you learned while you were in the Corps?
Uh, I think I learned a little bit more, I think discipline and leadership,
Okay,
honestly, because I became a squad leader probably within about a year, honestly, because we kind of go in, within about a year, the other guys started getting out and I moved
okay.
up pretty quick. I made corporal, shoot, I think about a year into the fleet.
No way. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I made corporal fairly quick.
Wow.
I kind of wheezed my way in because I went out of boot camp. I went into right into recruiting duty for instead of like wasting time, between boot camp and SOI because I think the guys they had to sit there for about a month before they got
Okay.
picked up at SOI. So I got a little bit lucky. So I spent a month at home and when recruiting duty, actually I got two people to sign up.
Oh,
So I got
wow.
a bunch of points there. So I
Okay.
got so I got corporal fairly quick, but then I became a squad leader fairly quick too. So I picked up rank really quick. Got a bunch of schools and stuff like that. So I made sergeant in peacetime in 3.5 years.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, brother. Holy cow.
So
It took me
yeah,
a little longer, but that's awesome. Wow.
yeah.
What was the hardest challenge when you were in?
Um, Honestly, I didn't really, not really a whole lot of challenge. I didn't really think it was
Okay.
very hard, honestly. Um, I'm trying to really, yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did.
Nice.
Deployments were fun. I was in 29 Palms, so we
That's
didn't do
never
any
fun.
Mews,
Right,
no.
right.
But I loved the training because everything was live fire and stuff like that, So, I for the most, being stationed there sucked, but man, when you're out in the field, everything's live fire. We didn't worry
Right.
about blanks, clean the guns. Because I remember going to Okinawa and you're running through the jungles and you're shooting the blanks and stuff, and the cleaning of those that just sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just that black gunk that gets in your weapons and stuff, and doing the NT. Did you ever go to Okinawa?
Yeah, I was in Camp Schwab for a year. Yep.
Yep, that's where we were. So,
Yep.
I loved NTC, man, doing the jungle warfare stuff. Oh man, I love that. That
That's
was
awesome.
so much fun.
Yeah.
But to clean the guns after, oh, it just sucked. But
Yeah,
no, I enjoyed it.
you get
I
always
enjoyed it.
focus on the good stuff, right? And
Oh yeah,
because
I just enjoyed it.
there's always going to be stuff that sucks no matter what
Oh
you do
yeah,
in life. So,
yeah. But I would think the most miserable part was the humps. I hated the humps, man. I despised them.
yeah, I agree.
After you do one, you know what it's like.
That's like I got this down. I don't have to keep
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
My body knows that, if I have to do it, I can do it. I proved it. I did a 20 miler. I'm good. I know what it feels like. I always
Oh
thought that.
man, that's awesome. So so after you got out, did you go right into contracting or no?
Nope, actually, got out, went in heating and air conditioning. So I tried to be the lazy because I got married prior to getting out. So I was
Okay.
the dirty what were they called? Not the spouse, what were the married people in the military? No, for now, I'm all blank.
Yeah.
The
I know what.
dependent.
Oh,
I was the
okay. Yeah,
dependent.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, you were a
I was the
dependent.
dirty
Okay.
dependent. I was like, I'm gonna be the lazy dependent. I lasted about 2 months. I was like, I gotta do something.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Yeah.
So I went in heating and air conditioning after that.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
started a career in that. It was good pay and stuff. Went to school, and actually started my own business doing it.
Oh, no way.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, and actually I picked up just so the ex-wife now, she after 9/11, she actually got deployed to Kuwait, and then that's when we found about, the contracting world and stuff because it was pretty hush hush at the time. It was more like, special forces guys were the only ones that were really doing and, picking up unless you had a specialty skill, and stuff like that, were the only ones who really knew about it or you're already inside the defense industry. So she kind of found out about it. We had send in the resume and all that stuff. And then, I actually had picked up, a couple $100,000 contracts, for HVAC work and stuff. And actually
Okay.
I came to another company that I was working for prior and just gave them to them and bounced. And that's when the contract world kind of opened up for me and started in
Wow.
July 3.
So it sounded like the HVAC was going pretty good, but
Oh yeah. I mean,
you wanted to get back in the game, basically.
oh, dude, I mean,
Yeah.
again, good money. I was making anywhere between, taking home pay, in my pocket, like $1,000 a day, easy.
Nice. Yeah.
And but I hated it,
Yep.
you know,
You got to do what you love, man.
and I
100%. Yeah.
quit that, $1,000 a day for $12 an hour.
Nice. Yep.
People say, oh, you did it for the money. Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, no, I just, when you feel like something's missing, if I'm not happy doing it, I'll quit. I got no problem quitting. Money
Yeah.
doesn't drive me. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It never has.
Same
So
here.
I just, it's like, okay, so that's when, that door opened. I sat on that contract, getting $12 an hour. Of course, their biggest thing is, you get per diem, which wasn't that much anyways. But it's their kick was, well, it's tax free because you're over there for, for 330 days a year, then it's all tax free, but it's only like the first 80 grand that's tax free. After that, you got to pay taxes on it, but still,
Holy cow.
yeah. And
So back then they didn't pay that much then.
Oh no, you're getting $12
Oh,
an hour. You're working, 12 hours a day.
holy cow. I thought you guys
Oh
were
yeah.
like making bank back then.
Oh hell no. Not on that contract. But then
Wow.
when I was over there for the first year, set on that contract. There's a lot of people who jump contract to contract, but when I sign something, I stick to it. I don't jump.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I
Did
I, I think you agreed to something, you stick to it. That's how you should be.
Yeah, 100%. And you said a lot of special forces usually go into there, so you had to work a little bit harder to get in there, right?
Yeah, I work with a lot of cook, admin people and stuff like that, and that's where a lot of people don't realize about it was about 5,000 plus contractors were killed over there,
Wow.
and but again, like I'm saying, I'm working with a lot of cooks, admin people and stuff, and some infantry guys again, kind of same as me, just trying to get into the contract world. So then you get these fly-by-night companies that would come over there. And again, that's when you hear about the companies that were paying the 90, 60 grand a month, stuff
Okay,
like
got
that.
it. Okay.
But that's when you lost the 5,000 people also.
Oh,
Because,
wow.
they would hire these cooks, these admin guys to go do PSD work and stuff
Oh
like
my
that. They didn't
gosh.
know how to do anything. They didn't know how to operate a saw. They didn't know how to they didn't know how to fire maneuver and stuff. But they'd go like, well, yeah, but they're going to go and train us, 2, 3 weeks. Like, dude, you're not learning that stuff in 2 to 3 weeks, man. It takes a long
Yeah.
time to
It's
react that quick when,
it's months and months of training.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially when rounds are really coming at you, you're gonna freeze up.
Right.
It takes that just because you know how to do it, you're gonna freeze. And so a couple of the guys I work with, again, they didn't make it back.
Man.
They lasted, maybe 2, 3 months and they're dead.
Wow.
So, I sat on that contract and found about Blackwater. Actually, in '04, that's when Blackwater blew up because of the
Okay.
guys that got dragged and they got hung on the bridge and stuff like that.
Right, right.
So '04 is when I jumped on the Blackwater and, then that's when, kind of leveled off and yeah, and spent
Nice.
over 10 years, and Benghazi happened. Actually, I deployed two more times even after Benghazi. That
Oh,
was my
no
last.
way. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
a
Holy
lot of
cow.
people think, a lot of us did. Oz, he's the only one who didn't deploy again because, he was injured. He just couldn't do it. All the
Right.
rest of us, we all deployed again.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, a
So,
lot of us think that we all, well, Tonto didn't. Because I think he was writing the book when he was up on the roof, um, and everything.
he seems like a wild man, Santo. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
But no, OD and Jack, we all deployed again.
Wow. Holy cow. That's
So,
amazing.
and Jack, he's still doing work right now.
Oh, wow. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. More power to him. So basically, when you became a contractor, they didn't give you additional training. You had to have your own training and just send you
yep.
out to the missions. Okay. All
Yep.
right. Interesting. All right. Didn't know that. All right. So we're talking a little
So
bit
no,
about.
well, no, you got additional training. So we
Oh, you
went
do?
to,
Okay.
yeah, so with Blackwater,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
it was like a 1 month workup.
Okay.
Like your additional kind of in doc kind of a thing. You went in, you did a bunch of training. You actually did like a huge psych eval. You did like a thing called like a Wonderlic test, and like a 300 psych eval kind of a thing, just to kind of see if you're nuts,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
and
Are you
stuff
going to
like
lose
that.
it when you're next to me? I don't want you out there. Yeah.
And they check, I guess like the Wonderlic was kind of like your IQ test or something like that,
Okay.
and stuff. But yeah, just to kind of check you. I don't know exactly what it was for, but anyway, so they did all that stuff. So yeah, but so a lot of it is just to kind of put everybody on the same, because you all come from different branches and stuff like that, and they just want to get everybody on the same page.
Right.
That's what
Got
it
it.
was.
Okay.
So, and then when I went to, and that was just basic training kind of stuff for, because when I initially went in, I didn't know who I was going to work for. I had no
Okay.
clue. So everybody's just kind of the same field, and then you kind of at the very end, all the you're kind of together. Then you kind of get separated, and then you go into another room. Then you can sign a piece of like a secret clearance kind of thing to say, here's who you're working for.
Okay.
Then you go, oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, so then you gotta get shipped off, and that's kind of started. And then that's when I found out about GRS stuff, and I was like, and they go, well, you have to have 8 years special forces, this and that, and so you can't do it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do it. So
Yeah.
that was my attitude. And then, you know, time kind of went by, and I was actually doing kind of some GRS stuff already, because I was doing mobile work, and it wasn't really technically supposed to, but I just ended up being part of this thing, and doing mobile stuff, taking the case officers to places because they just didn't have the manpower, and
Okay.
I had already had, I was an urban warfare instructor for the Marine Corps, and well, actually for my unit, I went anyways. Long story short, but so I was doing kind of stuff. I was taking guys places, and they found out about it. And I told them and they're like, oh, "Okay, fine, you can do it." So I ended up doing it, and I kept putting my resume and kept bugging them. And
Wait.
finally, the 2007 rolls around, and they're like, "You know what? Fine. Go do the training. If you pass it, you pass it. If you don't, leaves the hell alone. Don't ever talk to us again."
Nice. That's
And I ended
awesome.
up passing it, becoming GRS, and that's kind of how I made it in. Because you're supposed
Persistence,
to have 8 years special forces to get into GRS, and I did it.
persistence makes a difference, brother. Good job. That's
Right?
awesome. That's a great
They said
story.
I couldn't do it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And, you know,
But you were in Benghazi quite a while, right? Before everything started happening.
yeah, I was. That was yeah, I believe it was my fourth trip in Libya, my third trip in Benghazi. So technically, it would have been my last trip into
Were you
that
at the
country.
same location each time?
No, so my first trip, actually, I flew into Benghazi my first trip,
Okay.
and I landed in, I think it was around midnight, and it was four of us. Was it four of us? I'm trying to remember. It might have been, I think it was four of us and two case officers.
Okay.
Um, but one of them was the country, the chief, the station chief, and we drove from Benghazi up to Tripoli, and we actually opened up the station, the CAI, the main station,
Okay.
and we found the location for the embassy. So I was part of the team that opened up Tripoli,
Oh,
again.
wow. Okay.
So that was kind of cool. That was an interesting time
Oh my
because
God.
we didn't drive straight up. We kind of went. We stopped up in Mistrata. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's been a while, but and
Okay.
then we started again in the morning and finished up. Went up the trip. So it's kind of cool to see the whole countryside as we drove. Man, it was destroyed. A lot of. I mean, it was again it was a civil war, so it was a
Right,
lot,
right.
lot of
Man,
damaged
oh
stuff.
man.
So we got to talk to a lot of locals. We stayed in a hotel, so we had to do the whole fire watch thing, and just to make sure you don't get whacked. It was kind of cool to see that side of our intel work, how they had to find people, staying in locations as we moved through the countryside and stuff. So that was kind of cool to be part of.
That's awesome.
Um, but no, so that was my first trip was up in Tripoli, finding houses and stuff to stay at and locations and how we found our permanent location and all that stuff. And how we found being part of finding our actual embassy that we were at. I think that's all closed down now, but finding that being part of that, part of history, that was kind of cool.
That is cool. Being able to find that. That's awesome. Uh, so with Benghazi, there's a lot of a lot of stuff said in the media, but not everybody understands what it's really like on the ground, right? Can you take us back what you remember the most, either tactically, whether tactics or emotionally? What sticks out to you the most?
I would say the people, they were really friendly towards us.
Okay.
We tried to tell them either we were like Canadian or British. We really didn't tell them we were Americans,
Oh, that's good.
but they're like, I think they knew we were Americans just because I didn't have an accent.
Right. Okay.
But man, they would shake our hands. They were very thankful for us. They would, if we were eating or trying to buy a coffee, half the time they would be very forceful in buying it for us.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
Wow.
dude, it was really freaking cool, man. But very, very helpful. It was, even up in Tripoli. They didn't really like us as much in Tripoli as they did in Benghazi because they hated Gaddafi in Benghazi. I mean, they hated him. I mean, that's where the war actually kicked off at. A lot of people
Okay.
don't realize that, but so I think that was the biggest thing that, again, being in a lot of so many other countries where they just really didn't like us at all.
Oh my gosh.
So
Holy
it was
moly.
it was a big difference there being in Benghazi. So I didn't feel as of a major like as worried as I did in other places. I mean,
Okay.
you still looked over your shoulder, but it wasn't as threatening, I would say.
Got it.
So
Got it.
you'd go, we would walk around in the stores and stuff. You park your vehicle, so it wasn't. You it'd be more like walking around in Kuwait or a
Okay.
normal Muslim country, where, but we still had your body armor, still had your weapon and stuff like that, but it wasn't, well, like walking around Afghanistan or Iraq. It was just different.
Interesting. Wow. I didn't
So I
know
think
that.
that was the biggest thing where a lot of people kind of probably get. I mean, right now it's probably different, but back then it was, yeah, it would. I'd be more threatened walking around Chicago than I would be in Europe. So
Yeah, I got to make sure I always got my nine on me when I'm ever if I never hardly ever go to Chicago. I'm out in the suburbs, so it's like no thanks.
right. I mean, I would feel safer there than definitely New York City.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. My gosh, that's so crazy. Uh,
um, yeah.
what was the most frustrating part when you were in Benghazi?
I would say the chief of base, not
Okay,
really. I think didn't really seem like he was focused on the terrorist aspect. It always seemed like he was focused on more on the political aspect.
got it.
Um, you know, we had some other guys that would come in, technical guys that would like we would almost secretly drive them around to go and find Al Qaeda and stuff
Okay,
under his nose. Um, I would take things out, what's from Sarah Adams, and
yep.
she would teach me. She taught me how to run it and stuff, so I would take it
Oh no
out,
way, that's awesome.
pretty much give it to her versus
Okay,
that he wouldn't know. So I was kind of doing that, and we would get yelled at when he found out, which was just weird, man. We would report Al Qaeda flags that we would see on buildings. He would get pissed off about it. It was just that part was just frustrating. Uh,
wow.
like the stand down order that we got that night, there
I
was
would I
times,
would have been pissed, man. Like what the hell?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's other times when, we had a a deputy chief of base and a linguist that got held up at a checkpoint. And, we would try normally any other place, we would go out there and be in the area, like get eyes on, just in case something bad happened, we could respond immediately.
Okay.
We don't just go in there and just do something. We wait. We let them deconflict because us just
Exactly.
going in would just escalate it. We're not stupid.
Right.
And, we would just kind of get eyes on and be ready, pretty much, just be ready to respond. And he wouldn't let us go. They'd be 45 minutes away. If something's happening, us going there, by the time we get there, it'd be done anyways. It'd be stupid. So that was just Bob. That was really frustrating stuff for us. It was a lot of it was just stupid. But I also defend him on the other hand. On a personal level, he was a pretty good guy.
Okay.
He would take care of if you had personal issues and stuff like that, he would help you out. He'd take care of you. Like my twins were born, when I was in Benghazi, emergency C-section, and
Oh wow.
he actually had, um, he actually, normally they don't do this for contractors, but the base actually paid for my plane ticket to get out of there. They found the ticket because I was trying to find it. They actually bought the ticket for me to get out of there the very next morning all the way home.
Right.
They're able to
Wow.
get like a different ticket and stuff like that, and
That's
get
awesome.
so that was
Okay.
really cool. They've never done that before. So again, on a personal level, he was good, but on a tactical,
Yeah.
it was just he's just an ass.
He just thought differently and not a good person. Yeah. That's terrible. What sticks out to you the most being at the annex, going to the or at the
To the consulate.
yeah, at the consulate?
What do you mean exactly?
What's the I mean, you probably think of something the most. Like what was the one thing that you always remember about being there?
Well, I mean, just that stand
Like
order.
during the firefights.
Well, I mean, that stand on order. If we'd have left when we wanted to, there'd be, Stevens and Smith would be alive.
Right.
Fact. That's
Okay.
one thing that's all. I think all of us know that.
And you went in
If
that building trying to
well,
rescue him as
'cause-
well, right?
what's that?
You went into the burning building trying to rescue him?
Well, yeah. Well, we were trying to find them.
Right.
If we'd have left when we were ready to go, they wouldn't be able to light them on fire.
Right.
So they both died of smoke inhalation.
Man, that's terrible.
Yeah, and us sitting there just kind of waiting, and when they come out and say that there was no stand down order, that's all a lie. We you know we only bring up the stand down order to sell more books.
Right, exactly.
I don't know how saying there's a stand down order would sell more books. I don't understand it, but you know they what we found out from Sarah Adams is that the 17th Feb, the commander told Bob, weeks prior that if anything ever happened at the consulate, that they were never going to show up. And then
Wow.
while we were getting ready, that Bob actually got a hold of him that while we were getting ready, and he told him again that they were not going to come and help. And that's why he told us to stand down because he knew that we were going over there with no support, but we didn't need support. We didn't need untrained people to help us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Our job was hostage rescue. That's what we got trained to do.
Right, exactly.
That
Wow.
was our whole purpose to be with the agency was hostage rescue because that's all we focused on.
Wow. And
It wasn't just
17 Feb was part of the Libyan government, or who were they?
not no, they were just malicious. They were
Oh,
just
they were
a
malicious. Okay.
group of people that were just band together. It's kind of like just picture like the Crips and Bloods being band together to do
Oh,
security.
no way, really? Oh my
That's what they
gosh.
were.
Wow.
So they weren't really trained. I mean, there's some pictures and maybe some videos online where they show them being trained by the State Department on their compound.
Okay, got it.
And I remember watching them over there being sitting over there. I think it was might have been even the first time I was there. Might have been the second time I was over there. But they're like trying to teach them how to reload. Like reload their magazines and doing fast reloads and stuff. Their mags are dropping, and it was just like this is kind of scary. So they
Oh my
weren't
gosh.
professionally trained. They're not hostage rescue. They're not. They don't know how to do cover and fire maneuvering. That's. But it is just stupid.
Right, right. Yeah, that's terrible.
But it is what it is, unfortunately.
So what got the as far as a firefight itself, what was the most what's the word I'm looking for? The hairiest where you think, oh crap, we're not gonna make it out. What was that?
The mortars.
The mortars? Yeah, when the mortars were coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we had the wall. I mean, we had our
Is the
front.
layout on the movie pretty similar or no?
No, I mean it was, especially at our compound. I mean,
Okay.
they did really good at the CIA compound, except for, they had in the movie it showed like an open field, like we could see them for days.
Right,
That's
right.
not how it was. There's a lot more concealment for them.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I would say between the wall and out to where they were, probably there was about 50 yards that was wide open. Other than
Oh,
that, they
wow.
had a lot of concealment
Okay, gotcha.
where they were moving up from. But the layout other than that, it was really, really close.
Oh, wow. And then the
So
mortar started coming in towards the end on the movie. Was that
yeah, that was
accurate or
that
no?
was the mortars was the last attack.
It was the
And
last attack.
they
Okay.
hit us with just five mortars. And from what I know, still now we still don't even know why it really stopped.
That was my next question. Yeah,
So to me, in my head, I was thinking, if the mortars keep coming in, we're all dead unless we move.
exactly. It's like they had the upper hand.
Oh yeah, they totally did. And it was by the hand of God that the building itself didn't even collapse.
Wow. Holy cow.
But where the mortars, so it got hit by three mortars. I only still to this day, I only know that one actually hit.
Okay.
But they say by the video footage and the markings on the roof, three mortars hit the top of the roof.
Oh,
Okay, fine.
wow.
But I only remember seeing one bright flash. But um, I'll go off their video and the word of them. But anyways, but the markings, there is three markings up there where it looks like, two hit, but there's no pots. There's no like imprints, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? There's no dents.
Right, right.
But okay, okay. Um,
Yeah, I'm
I'm-
sure you could tell me a whole different story, brother, but we don't got enough
but
time today. But
but
one
but
day, hopefully, we could chat. But go ahead.
but where those markings are, because I mean anyways, it hit right where the retaining wall is, and the retaining walls they're 1 foot, about yeah, just over a foot wide solid concrete.
Okay.
So that to me, if that's the only reason why that building didn't collapse and kill
Wow.
everyone tonight, or at least kill some and injure the others.
Holy
So
cow.
again, a miracle in itself.
Man, oh man.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, man, the mortars keep coming in. We got nothing to we got no bunkers.
Right.
We're gonna have to like just take off, every man for himself kind of a thing.
Man, oh man.
Get in
And
the vehicles and just go.
towards the end, Navy SEAL and some was it Rangers that came in?
Nope. So the team from Tripoli came in.
Triple A, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they had two Delta Force guys with them, which one
Delta.
was an
Okay.
Army and the other one was a Marine.
Okay.
Um, but so what a lot of people don't realize also, so it was actually 17 Feb Martyrs Brigade, the again, remember the guys that was supposed to be the
Be helping.
QRF for the consulate, they were the ones that actually launched the mortars on us.
What?
Yep.
No way. Oh man.
And so again, this is not the Delta Force guys' fault, but the guys that they called to have them come that was supposed to come pick them up from the airport to bring them to our compound,
Right.
they're the ones that actually launched the attack against us.
Oh my gosh. What the hell?
So and then but they weren't the ones that attacked the consulate.
Okay.
That was Al Qaeda that actually attacked the consulate.
Interesting.
It was all this whole thing was all jacked up. So dude, it was a big cluster, man.
And those deltas, how they came in like toward like the last couple of hours, or when did they come
They're
in?
yeah, they're only there. They're only in our compound again for like 20. So the reason why, so when they landed about 3 in the morning,
Okay.
and the militia again, the ones that attacked us, they left them there for until daylight.
Holy
So they
crap.
left them there until daylight so they could see where the mortars were coming in because they wanted to kill us all. So that's why they waited. So when they got daylight, they picked them up, brought them in. So the only thing that I understand is the reason why the mortar stopped because the commander of the unit went into the building with them.
Oh,
And
okay.
and there because when the mortar started, the guys that were out there took off and I think went to the mortar team and told them to stop because their
Wow.
commander was in there. We think
Wow.
my assumption is that's the only reason why it stopped.
Wow. That's terrible. Holy cow.
Yeah.
So those guys didn't really do much then when they got there though.
They didn't do
Were they
anything. Well,
didn't do
I'm
anything?
gonna say they didn't do anything. I mean, they got Dave Ubin off the roof after again. This is after everything was over, after all the shooting was over.
Okay.
They came up on the roof. They got Dave Ubin off the roof and they went in, but I don't know if they actually treated him. I think they did. But Ron was our medic, so he died, and Bub was the medic, and he died.
Oh man.
So there was really no medic, but we all had medic, Marine Corps, we all had that medical training, GRS, we all did live. We all have to go through live tissue training and stuff like that because we were always on our own anyway. So we all
Right.
have some sort, but again, I'm not a medic.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but
The
we
basic stuff.
have that
Yep.
we have that stuff. So, so they did do stuff, but
Okay.
what I don't know, I didn't actually see, but I know they got Dave Ubin off the roof physically because I did see that and stuff. So they did do that part, but other than that, they didn't do anything else that I know of.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And they got awards for that too, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the second highest award in the military, but is what they got it for. Read their citation. They got it because they said they rendered aid under fire and they escorted unarmed civilians to safety under fire, which is
Wow.
all untrue.
Man, oh man. Yeah.
But
I've seen some other awards in even in the Marine Corps that were it's like where did this come from?
yeah,
So, all
so.
right.
But it
Sorry
is
to
what
hear
it
that,
is.
brother. Yeah. Never surprised me with people like we were talking before we started, So, uh so let's talk a little bit about because you look pretty healthy, strong still. So do you still work out quite a bit?
No.
No? Oh
So
man, you messed up my line.
yeah, no. So I got hit by a car in 2020. Had to have
Oh
two
no
hip.
way.
Yeah,
Oh
I had
my
to have
God.
two hip surgeries,
Oh my
and
goodness.
uh, and then I had to have a surgery on my forearm to kind of reduce my main forearm bone, ulnar bone, or whatever it is.
Okay.
And I kind of quit working out after that. I just kind of like, man, just over and over. And really haven't started, but I don't know. I keep thinking about. I got a gym in my garage. My wife kind of does. She works out
Okay.
more than I do, but you know, eventually maybe kind of getting a little bit more motivated. I've actually lost about 20 pounds, so I'm kind
Nice.
of
Okay.
because I gained so much weight, man. I think that's kind of, but it happens. You kind of go through those up and downs. Um, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
Not
Gotcha.
not totally quitting, but just not don't have that motivation to
At least you
actually
could do a little
get
cardio
back
though,
in.
right? Still.
No, I do. I still take my dogs out. We still
There
go
you
for
go.
walks. I do my little
And
bow
you have two
flex.
dogs, you said, right? Before we started?
Yeah, Belgian. I got two Belgian Malinois.
Nice.
So,
They
but
keep you
yeah,
going then.
they do.
Awesome. I love it.
So,
I love it. Let's talk a little bit about PTS, TBI. We got a lot of brothers that are struggling with that. Did you have a big issue after getting out with that?
no, no, I didn't have an issue with no PTS stuff. I
Okay.
try to tell people to leave the D out of it because it's not a disorder.
Right.
It's just PTS.
Okay.
But the TBI, yeah, a lot of major TBI. I think I got my TBI major one actually in Pakistan.
Okay.
Um, as part of another attack at the consulate in Peshawar. When there's a video of it. You want to look at it, it's kind of
Oh, is it
really
really?
major.
YouTube?
Yeah, major
Okay.
explosion. I think it was in 2011 actually.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a pretty big one. But and then obviously probably they think obviously, since that one was in 2011 and then 2012, just the multiple being so close to the explosion inside the consulate when we got counter assaulted. I was in the room when the RPG hit the wall and then smacking my head, and then the
Oh man.
explosion when going to the tower, and then the explosion from the roof. I think they're saying just being all that close and just still being kind of just not enough gaps in between them all.
Yeah.
Because because I went and had I guess the scan, the MRI scan.
Yeah.
It was
Uh-huh.
pretty good.
Okay. Oh my
Yes, you could
gosh.
say. But yeah, so no, pretty good TBIs. But I've done the hyperbaric chamber stuff, which
That's what I'm
has
gonna
helped
ask you
quite a
next. Yep.
bit.
Yep. Okay.
It was because I didn't dream after actually, and the one in Peshawar kind of quit dreaming. I felt weird because I was doing a lot of I did the P90X stuff. I was doing that,
Oh, did you really? Okay, I remember
and
that. Yep.
I was doing all that really. I mean, I was in really good shape, and then I think it was about a couple days later after the Peshawar when I started working out, I felt like weird. I mean, it was weird. I was like, man, something is just wrong, but I really didn't connect it or anything. And
Right.
then, yeah, I remember going home and just I know something's off, but I just kept doing my own thing. You just kind of kept going. And
Fight through it. Yep.
anyways, wasn't really dreaming. Then after Benghazi, I was like, I just noticed I'm not dreaming. Then I did the hyperbaric chamber, started
Okay.
dreaming. Dude, when I had my first dream, it was so weird
Oh, wow. That's
because I didn't
awesome.
realize it was dreaming. I thought I was awake.
Oh my gosh.
It was such a trip. And then I did stem cells,
Okay.
kind of the same thing. And then I started dreaming almost every night. And I didn't then I wasn't tired or anything, but then I could not then I was like, am I actually dreaming or am I actually awake? It was kind of cool. But
Wow. What
but
kind of
yeah.
stem cells did you do?
So they did the fetal from the placenta.
Okay.
So
So you had to
yeah.
go out of the country?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Here in the U.S., they're still doing kind of more. It's more still based on like research kind of stem cell stuff.
Okay.
But I did it because my back went out. I wasn't able to walk for about 2 days. I was in the hospital. Major. I mean, it was bad. And so I'm still doing it. I actually went down to Florida just recently. Got another injection, more not injection, but just ID is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They actually did some eye drop stem cells. Um,
Nice.
to try to help with because I got cornicosis as well.
Okay.
So they're trying to see if that helps. Usually they say it takes about 6 weeks to notice anything. But so we'll kind of see how that goes.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I
But
got
yeah, I'm just trying to do anything that I can.
yeah,
But the
absolutely.
dreaming's kind of it started going away, now it's starting to come back again.
Okay.
So so
That's
they're trying to see if maybe if I might be able to do. They're trying to see if I can do it like every 3 months with the stem cells, but it's
okay.
kind of expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Trying to see if donors can kind of if she can get the donors to keep covering it because I got to fly out to Florida to kind of do it because it's still under like a research kind of a thing. But with what Trump just signed with what kind of what Sean Ryan was doing that stuff I
Oh, with the
forgot.
psychedelic stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. So she's kind of hoping with that that'll kind of open the door for the stem cell crap as well. Because
Right,
again,
exactly.
all the VA does is just flood you with drugs.
Right, exactly. And that's
And this stuff is actually it again, it's not drugs, it's natural. It's, the placenta, again, and I'm not really a research nerd kind of person, but the placenta works on everybody because it's still brand new cells. It doesn't reject anything. There's
right,
no side
exactly.
effects. There's more positive. So, I mean, I see other things and that it's worked on. It hasn't worked on my back yet, but that's their goal
Okay.
is to help on the
Yeah,
back.
I got a good buddy that he went to go do umbilical cord stem cells
Yeah.
in Mexico, and he actually, what was he? Was he I think it was a ranger. He was a ranger like many years ago, and he was jumping off a plane at a night in a night jump, and the wind kicked up, and he wound up hitting a tree, and he was on traction for a year. He said,
Yeah, I
and
did that.
then he said, Dave, I was in pain for 30 years. There's nothing I could do. And he went down to this clinic in Mexico, did the umbilical cord stem cells. He said in 2 weeks he was back to normal. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Yeah, because I
cool. So
think down there they flood you with like billions of like
yeah, you
stem
get
cells,
like millions of
millions.
cells.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
forgot, like
So
she doesn't do it that many. But yeah,
all
because
right.
they're down
Yeah.
there, it's kind of like you want to get yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I've been trying to tell people about that. Then hyperbaric chamber is great as well, like you mentioned, right?
Yep.
And then some people are doing psychedelics, and then God as well helps out
Yep.
immensely. So
Yep.
I had a guy that a couple seals on, and I asked him what was the best part. They said umbilical cord stem cells and God out of all
Yep.
of these, which is pretty cool. But I'm hearing a lot of great things with hyperbaric chambers as well. But just trying to open the door for people to be open to try other stuff because all these people that I've had on, all of them are off drugs. Thank God they figured it
I
out.
know.
They
And the
figured
VA
something
just
out.
they don't. The VA is just about drugs, 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 drugs.
You know what kills me, brother? It says on there this may cause suicide. It's like, what would you give somebody that it
Yeah.
may cause suicide? Are you guys idiots, right? So
Yeah.
drives me crazy. I'll connect you with my guy that does the umbilical cord too as well, so you could talk to him. Um, speaking of God, how has faith changed your life, the way every day and the way you lead as well?
I mean, so I've always had faith has always been part of my life, So
Okay.
actually, it's kind of funny, not funny, but not funny. So so the church I go to, they have a thing called Vintage Prime, and it came up to me about a month ago, and they said, "Hey, we want you to come and do your spiritual journey." Well, actually, they came and say, "We want you to do your Benghazi story." I said,
Okay.
"Okay." Then they come up and say, "Well, the following church, they came up and said, 'Hey, we want you to do your actually spiritual journey.'" I said, "Okay." Then they come, "They actually want you to do your spiritual journey with Benghazi." I go, "What do you guys really want?" Because everybody thinks it was like Benghazi when I found God. I was like, no, that's not how it worked. Actually started really young. I went to church as a kid, and I've always kind of known it. So, the journey, it's been just a long journey. I've always known God. I've always, about Jesus stuff. I actually got saved, back in around sixth, seventh grade.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
yeah, so I've always had him, I've always been a troubled kid though. So,
Right.
he's always been part of my life. I just, just been one of those kids. Just it's always been there, So, like I guess when people hear that I said a prayer over Roan and Bub, that's when it started. No, I just carried him into that battle,
Got
kind of
it.
a thing.
Yeah.
So, he's just always been a part of me. I just never spoke about, I just not been that one that preached, I guess.
Right, exactly. But did you always have that personal relationship, like really close to him?
I don't
Or
think
because I
so.
know, because I know when I was younger, I never did. Right, I knew about
No,
him and I went to church and all that, but I didn't really
I,
like trust him and give him everything. Or it's like I could just rely on everything,
I
with
don't
you.
think I really relied, I guess. I think I always trusted. I think I always had like, I just kind of, I don't know how to really explain it. I just kind of, if things just happened, they would just happen, I guess.
Okay,
I think that's kind of
got
like,
it.
and I would see a door open, I, I guess blindly just walk through it. Like if it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. Maybe that is my kind of blind faith, I guess.
Yeah.
Say like again, like the contracting thing. If it's gonna happen, whatever
Yep.
happens, it's gonna happen, kind of a thing, I guess.
Yep.
Just kind of like the business. If I start it, I start. If it works, it works. I, and maybe
Yep.
that's kind of my
Put
faith, I
it
guess.
in his hands and work our butt off. Right. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just if something went bad, I get mad. I think that's just human nature. I think everybody kind of does it, but it's just but no, like it's kind of funny. Like everybody thought, even there when after I gave my speech, I was like, "Oh, we just thought you found, God in God." I was like, "No, I know. Just it's because people don't know who you are. They just see what they saw on TV and stuff."
Right,
So,
exactly. Yeah, they only know a small clip of what you about you, which is pretty. So obviously you go to church. What else do you do to stay connected with God every day?
uh, just I don't, it's more my wife that's the Bible thumper. So I think it
Okay,
pretty much she
that's
kind of
good.
keeps me more
That
connected.
that's a good asset to have, right? Some
Yeah,
good partner. Yep.
yeah. So I mean, I found, I think God kind of people ask like, why did you run the first time? I was like, I really don't know. Something I was actually watching TV and it said you have until Friday. It was like I think it was actually Thursday. It was like the day before the last day, get up and get the packet for the mayor.
Okay.
So I just kind of something said get up and go do it, and I got up and went and did it, filled it out, and handed it in pretty much right
No
there.
way. That's how you decided to do it. That's
Yeah,
wow.
and then that's actually how met my wife.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that could have been that was it. That was why, I guess. I don't know. But
Right. Right. Awesome.
you know,
And you're running for mayor in Colorado Springs, right?
again,
Okay. Again.
this
Okay.
time, I mean, you always do things to win, but I didn't really, you know, it was more just to kind of throw a wrench in things and make people try to think different and process things different. But, now I have more of a chance. And even then, I ran for 9 weeks. I got
Okay.
just over 4,000 votes. The top two got like just over like 20,000 votes apiece or something like that to get into the runoff. Um, I raised like 20 grand. 12 people ran. So there's a lot of votes spread across, 12 people.
Okay.
They raised, the top two raised 1 million. The other
Oh
ones raised
wow.
around, 500,000.
Okay.
I still, I raised 20 grand and I still got like fifth or sixth place.
Wow. That's pretty good. Okay.
So, and I still beat, some of the guys that still spent like $500,000.
Wow. Holy cow.
So, and I ran into voters who go, you were running? I didn't know that. I would voted for you.
Oh
You know,
man.
because again, but a lot
Yeah.
of people by 9 weeks left in a race, they already have their candidate picked. They don't even really they look for that candidate's name, they mark it.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm like, don't apologize to me. I don't really care.
Right,
I wasn't
right.
worried really about winning. I was just worried about like just kind of getting, in front of people. Like when in the debates, I would call bull crap out. Like,
Nice. That's awesome. Yep.
so I'm learning more about the city charter, learning more to actually what the mayor can do. So I'm trying to remember more about the debates, what people are saying, especially ones that are city council, ones that been in politics for a while, like Wayne Williams, and trying to remember what the stuff they were saying. A lot of stuff they were saying was bull crap. They couldn't
Wow.
even do the things they're saying as mayor. Like that's you can't. I'm like going. So again, I can't wait for the debates. That's my biggest thing is I'm calling bull crap. Like, no, you can't do that.
Right.
Like according to city charter, that's way out of your lane.
I love that. Yeah, because
This person lane. This is city. This is county commissioner. This
it's not
is
even under your authority or anything, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you try to stick in your lane and tell the truth? This is why
Wow.
nothing gets fixed. So
Wow.
that's kind of where I'm going at.
And
So
what are you promoting that you could do?
honestly, the number one thing the mayor can do is public safety.
Okay.
That's really his true lane. It's just code enforcement, public safety, and honestly, it's reducing what's going on in public safety pretty much by half, I think. Well, I know in 2 years.
Oh wow. Okay. Holy cow.
Increasing the morale of the police department so guys just don't, I'm talking to law enforcement guys who got like 40, 20 years, and they got, usually after 20 years, they'll stay longer. A lot of
Okay.
times you hear about guys, in law enforcement, they'll stay for 40 years.
Wow.
You know, you talk to some of the older cats, they'll at least 30 years. But now you got guys who got 2 years, 4 years before they're 20 years, and they're already like, I can't wait to be done. I'm done. I went out. I don't want to do this crap. And usually you didn't hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a
And
lot of
it's
veteran guys,
yep.
aren't military. Like, oh man, I'm loving this. You got officers. They'll spend 60 freaking years in the military and force them out.
Right. That's true.
That's usually how it was. But now it's like they want to get out. Why? Because morale sucks.
Yep.
They
Leadership.
hate it.
Yep. Leadership is
That's
bad.
what it is. The
Yep.
leadership sucks.
Right.
So that's again, you fix that morale. When you change the morale in a unit, holy crap.
Night and
The
day, brother. Yep.
officers work better. What happens? Everything just gets better overall. So again, when the same thing in the city, when the morale starts picking up everything just changes. It's
Right.
to me, it's insane on how morale can change a city.
Right.
But where does it start? It starts at the top. It doesn't start at the bottom. It doesn't start with the people. It starts at the top. So
Right.
when you start, just because the mayor, all he is really is a dog and pony.
Right. Exactly.
I
Yep.
read in the city charter, he's the freaking dog and pony. Fine, I'll be a dog and pony, but he's also a voice. You got these bills that come out of Denver and stuff like that. They're just, I mean, they just passed a bill that now if your child wants to identify as a cat and you misidentify him, he can literally sue you as a mayor. Why you should be saying something as a mayor.
Holy cow. Absolutely.
I
Wow.
mean that goes against that gets that's against the morale of our nation. I
Right.
mean the founding of I mean what so it's just things like that. I mean just being the voice, being a powerful voice is just the liberty and the morale of what this nation is founded on.
I
Our
love it.
gun rights, or our liberty, our safety, everything. Just like the prostitution bill they tried to pass. The guy never said anything. They were trying to make prostitution legal here. Dude never
What?
said nothing.
Oh
Why
my
are you not?
gosh.
You should be front and public, even just saying, even if that's coming through, you should be saying this. If this get, I'm preparing to making sure that if this bill passes, again, just know what I'm saying, just being that voice, being up front, being that leader. You know what I'm saying? That's what a mayor should be doing. If you're the dog and pony, be the dog and pony.
Yeah. Yeah. And what blows my mind is that a lot of people don't shut down a lot of this crazy stuff that comes across their desk, right?
Yeah.
Or call it out like you're calling it out. It's like that's BS. We're not doing this, or that's BS. You can't do this, right? So
Yeah, he just goes around and takes pictures and stuff like that, and it's just like That's yeah. No, I'm
Well,
not. I'm not doing it.
unfortunately, a lot of that stuff works, right? How many stuff do we hear in the media that's BS, and a lot of people
Yeah.
believe it, right? So the more you promote BS, people start believing it. But like you said, call it out, tell them it's not true, and do the right thing. And doing the right thing is not really hard. I don't understand why people have a hard
No.
time doing the right thing, but I don't know. It's crazy. All right.
Yeah. So,
Uh, so what else do you do for a living now, Tig?
not really a whole lot, honestly.
Okay. You do public speaking, right?
I do not as much as I was. I mean, actually, pretty much, since COVID, that kind of shut a lot of it down.
Oh, did
I
okay.
started, I kind of quit speaking, because I was doing an organization, kind of organizing the community. So I was kind of focusing on a lot of that. I still do some public speaking, but just not as much.
Okay.
Um, so I do a little bit of training at a company called DCF Guns. But
Oh yeah, I
since
saw you post on me that, right?
Yeah, but since my back went out, I really don't do a whole lot of the tactical stuff because I don't think it's really worth firing and maneuvering and stuff and letting my back go out and being
Right,
because
exactly. Yep.
I couldn't even barely get up the stairs to go to bed. And
And and,
later,
and back pain is brutal. First, I've had my first back pain, believe it or not, 2 years ago, and it just took me out for like a couple weeks. It's like, holy crap,
yeah,
this is something not to play with. God.
no, especially when you got stairs you have to go up, and I barely made it to the hospital. I mean, it sucked.
Wow.
It was bad. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that again.
Wow.
So.
So, but you still do speaking if somebody wants you to come out.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple. The GOP just asked me to come and do a speaking event for them. Again, the
Okay.
church had to come and do it. I mean, I didn't charge them or anything like that. I just kind
Oh,
of said I'm going
nice.
to do it. So yeah, like
Love it. Love it.
nonprofits, they'll come and ask. I'll come and do things for them and stuff like that. So
Okay, gotcha. You covered this a little bit, but there's a lot of division in the country right now. From your perspective, how do we start bringing people together at the local level?
man, that is a tough one.
Yep.
I think it's just going to be, yeah, man.
Yeah. I think everybody's trying
I
to figure that out, man.
I don't know, man, because just between I mean, you look at the governor's race here between you got Victor Marks and Scott Bottoms. You got two, you got a pastor and you got pretty much kind of a pastor, Victor Marks. I don't know if he's really, I guess he's a minister kind of a thing, and them two
Okay.
just butt heads. You know, you
He's
I
a Marine
support.
too, right?
Yeah, he's a Marine. I support Scott Bottoms mainly because he's been fighting for Colorado since 2020. You got Victor
Okay.
Marks who has, he has the platform that he did. The reason why I support Scott Bottoms is because he fought for Colorado during the COVID, during to me, I'm just saying the oppression that our government put against us.
Okay.
Shutting businesses down, putting masks on us,
Oh,
telling
he
us we
fought
can't do
against that? That's awesome.
yeah, he did.
Okay.
And this is before he became a politician. He opened up his church. He's holding community events. I did a lot of events there myself. You
Okay.
know, they were threatening him with arrest. He's kind of stood up, said, "Come arrest me."
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So
Okay.
they already had plans in place. They had backups in place in case he got arrested. For his church to still stay open. And so he was already doing that stuff. And my thing is like, okay, where was Victor Marx during this? He had a platform. He had the voice. He had the push.
Right.
He lived in Colorado. Where was he? He didn't do anything for Colorado. He didn't come out. He didn't, that. So my thing was, where was he? He was doing
Got it.
other things for other nations, other countries, other people, but where was he for the people of Colorado? I
Right.
was out in the street. I was doing things during the riots and the protests. I went into neighborhoods when they were being attacked, when that stuff like that. I was, putting myself out there physically and financially and putting myself at risk. Where was he when so that's kind of my thing.
Right.
When I put that stuff out there, then next thing I know, I'm being attacked.
Right.
And I'm
Exactly.
going, because so now I'm supporting him, then now people are saying, oh well, no, since you're doing this, I'm not going to support you for mayor.
No,
So I
that
don't
makes
know
no
where.
sense. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. So I'm like going, so I can't have an opinion because now if I have an opinion, you won't support me. It's like, whatever, I'm still going to do it. So I don't know where we can find this middle ground. And it's just because you don't like someone's opinion about this, you shouldn't. I don't know where we could find that common ground, but we got to find something It shouldn't be, you shouldn't not support someone. You should not attack someone just because they have a different opinion, a different way of looking at something, different way to
Right.
support someone. Because I don't care if someone supports victim marks. I'm still going to say what I say. I don't hate you because you
It,
support victim marks. Like Mark Geist,
it's your opinion. What were you saying? I'm sorry, Mark Dice, what you
Mark
saying?
Geist, he's on victim marks team. Me and him,
Okay.
we still talk.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't hate the guy. He
Yeah,
supports.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
you support him.
Right.
He tells me why. Okay, cool. I'd still support Scott Bonds because of what he did during that
Right.
time.
Yep.
Again, if again, if Victor Mark wins the primary, then I'll support him.
There you go. Yep.
That's just is what it is. It's just
Right.
during this time I'm supporting Scott, and then if he goes, that's just how it is. You don't have to say I'm not going to do this. I hate you now because of this. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I
It,
agree. Yeah, we need
it's
to go
just
back.
ridiculous.
We need to go back to old school and just have respect for people, right?
Yeah, it's just
And what they believe, right? Just because
yeah.
they believe something is not affecting the way you believe. So you believe what you want, I'll believe what I want, right?
Yeah,
And
and
we'll
just
keep moving
calling
forward.
people idiots, calling people stupid. Again, it kind of really started on the more on the Democrat side, calling Hillary calling people deplorables and stuff like that. It's just
Right,
like, but we're now the right's kind of doing the same thing to the people on the right, and it's kind of like you're no better than you actually know better than what Hillary Clinton was doing to us.
right, exactly.
You're not any better. Just if some people wants to support him, then support him. I went off on people even that support Scott Bottoms that have went off on people that support Victor Marx, calling them idiots. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
That's just stupid because if Scott wins the primary, he's going to need Victor's supporters. So you degrading them and saying that stuff, it doesn't help him.
Yeah,
It doesn't help the GOP. It doesn't help. That's just ridiculous.
yeah. What's crazy, I'm just thinking that when we were growing up, you would never see adults do that, right? And now
Not really. Not. I don't remember it.
everyone's acting like a friggin' kid nowadays. It's like, dude, you're not a kid, you're an adult, grow up, and stop the bullshit. You know what I
Or
mean?
maybe it's because we didn't have social media as kids. I guess we didn't
Yeah,
see
but
it.
still, I'm still you still had your bullies and stuff, but
Yeah.
but still, most people had respect for others, which is crazy.
Well, I
So
think it's because we saw them in person.
yeah, yeah,
I
that's
think the
true. Yeah, yeah,
disrespect.
yeah. You
I
weren't the
think they got
keyboard
help.
warrior. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like
Like
yes, yes.
a
Say that to my
different
face, brother.
standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
What's the best advice a mentor has ever given you on either leadership or business?
I think it was actually, I think it was the commandant of the Marine Corps. What was his name? Krulak.
Krulak, yeah, I think it was Krulak, yeah.
It's kind of like when he said, don't hold somebody on a pedestal because we all put our pants on the same way, one leg at a time.
Yep,
I
100%.
think that's one thing that always, so I've never put, from that day, I never put anyone on a pedestal
Right.
like what a lot of people do. Because again, we're
Yep.
all the same, we're all equal. We all put our pants on the same way,
Yeah, I
one
love
leg.
that. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. It's like, hey, I got this title, I'm doing this. It's like, good, you're still a person, dude. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's awesome. Tig, how can people connect with you if they need to reach out?
Just don't.
Just don't? Okay. I got your website behind here. I don't know if you could see it or not, but I know you got your
Yeah, so Dan,
website.
that website, I tell you what, I've been trying to rebuild that thing. No, I mean for me, for the mayor, donation to takeformayor.com, which I'm
Okay.
actually in the process of where somebody's working on that now. That's going to be revamped. It's going to look a little bit different. But then the tigtiegen.com, that's going up and soon, hopefully soon. I've been saying this for about a year now. Be
Okay.
able to get the books and order CDs and stuff like that autographed. Be able to get that hopefully before the end of the year.
Nice.
So I'm hoping. It's been such a struggle. Everything. I don't know why. It's just because I'm trying to do it myself. But
Yeah.
be able to get that stuff and be able to get it shipped to you. But just working on everything as much as I can. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then social media. Um, but it's pretty much the best two places to get a hold of me at to get things eventually.
Got it.
Uh,
Okay.
but right now, to get a hold of me it would be the Take for Mayor website, which has the email contact stuff.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Definitely support Tig. Great person, great Marine. He's fought for us in the past in the Marine Corps, fought as a contractor, saved many lives. has a great heart, believer, and he wants to help others. So that's the main thing you want to look for people and people that you could rely on. Because Tig and I were talking about that before. It's very hard to find someone you could rely on. So make sure you reach out to him if you live in Colorado Springs, connect with him, talk to him. I'm sure I'm sure he'll talk to you whatever it takes. But I definitely, if I lived there, I would vote for you, brother.
Thank you.
Finally, before we wrap up, what's one message you want our listeners to remember about you or what you've done?
Oh, heck, I don't know.
That's a tough one too, brother.
Because I don't really, about me, about what I've done, I don't, I just be you, man. Don't let somebody dictate who you're going to be. Honestly, just be
Yep.
you. Don't
I
be
think,
afraid to say something. I think we've gotten to where we are because people are afraid to step up. People are afraid to be them. You know. Yeah, I
yeah,
always remember. I don't know if you remember. People always said, "Oh, don't say anything; it'll pass."
right.
Remember that?
Yep, I do.
And I'm like, I think we've gotten here
We let
because of,
stuff slide. Yeah,
and I don't anymore. I do not care. My wife was saying she was at an event and she had some people that she thinks they're kind of, maybe Democrat or something, and they wouldn't stand for the pledge or they wouldn't. I'm like, I would have said something. I'm
right,
not. I will say something. I do not care.
right.
Um, Again, I just will. If anything, I'll say something. Don't be afraid anymore.
I love it. Yep, I agree.
That's
Yeah,
that's it.
you got to stand up for what you believe in. And something you said earlier, it's like if you're stuck in a job that you hate, find something else.
Yeah. If you're
Because
not happy, man,
life is too
money should not drive you.
life is too short, and you've made a great transition out of the Corps, helped a lot of people, and it's a pleasure to meet you, brother. Uh, Let me wrap up here real quick here. Any final thing you want to say before I start wrapping up here?
Oh, well, if you are in the Springs, El Paso County, I'm doing an event. You can find it on Facebook. It's called AMF Full Throttle 2026.
And
So
what's that
just
about?
it's a fundraiser for American military family. It's also to help drive foot traffic to businesses. It's like businesses donate $500 to AMF. They get onto an app, and the people got to go into the store. They scan a QR code, and they get pretty much free prizes. And it starts on June 21st, and the final is and the drawings happens on June 28th. And you don't have to be present to win. And I think we're up to about almost like we got like $10,000 worth of stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and
All right.
people don't have to pay to enter, just the businesses. Again, it's money for AMF, and again, it drives foot traffic to you, the businesses,
Awesome.
physically.
Awesome. I'll put that link if you could send it to me when we're done here as well. That'd be great.
Okay.
Uh, Tig, this has been a powerful conversation. Uh, from standing your ground in Benghazi to stepping forward to lead your community. Your journey is a reminder that service doesn't stop when we take the uniform off. It just evolves, right? We got to change.
Yep.
I think a lot of people get stuck in the uniform. That's it. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Life is a stepping stone, man. We're always going to change and evolve. So don't get stuck where you're at. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being on the show today, brother.
Well, thanks for having me, Dave. Appreciate it.
For our audience tuning in, share, follow, and subscribe. These stories need to be heard. These lessons can change lives. Stay focused, stay winning. God bless you, and thank you for listening and following.